What's happening, Siawana? How you doing, Bubba? Yeah, no, I was pretty schnockered last night, so it's probably good that you missed it. Let's be honest. Let's turn the light on here so I can get a little bit of, so I can see a little bit. Alright, I'm alive. I'm alive. You only made it halfway through the last one, it's fine. I've since taken down the video from last night because I realized I was being stupid. But it's fine. It's whatever. So I don't know how long we'll be streaming for tonight. Maybe a couple hours. But, ow. I'm at dinner with the family. Here, can't listen or type, lol. No worries, Bubba. I don't know, I should still be here when you get back from dinner, unless it's gonna be a long dinner. But, you know, like I was saying, it's about 5:44 now. I'll probably go for a couple hours. And then take a sleeping pill and crash out for the day. So I can be at work tomorrow. Never allow. Ha. Their ads on this website suck. So, yeah. David, how you doing today, buddy? How's your knee feeling? Come on, computer. I guess while that loads up. Ooh, one of the stories is called Fuzzy. That sounds like fun. You guys missed it. Side Effect Gaming was streaming, and we were just in there hanging out with him. Oh yeah, that's a short 7-minute one. We can do that one. Cool. Alrighty. And Jesus, this website's just ads all over it. You could barely read the stories. Close. Close. Stop. And you're fully loaded, you're good. Nope. Close. To make sure my levels are good. We look good. Alright. Let's do a couple stories. Jeez, I remember last night when I went to turn that off and it fell on my head. This one's called They Just Won't Move. It's written by Patty Barrett. P-A-D-D-Y. There's 3 of them outside. Hikers probably. Older maps usually show a route over the motorway behind my house, but there isn't one anymore. I don't mind them usually. They just walk down and back up a few minutes later. Go and explain the situation to them. I saw these 3 early, so I hoped I can go out and talk to them before they walk down, save them the trip. They look like a family. One man walking a bit in front of two women, one just a teenager. Girls were looking at a map while he strode ahead, confident. It was late evening. The sun was just barely falling behind the hill. Summer nights like this means the nights come late. I saw them from my window and walked around to my front door quickly, put my hand to the handle and glanced outside through the glass. Then I stopped. I stopped because they had, for a moment, I thought they had stopped walking to check the map or something, but just glimpse sent a chill through me. Like something was barely off. Uncanny Valley, right? I looked at them a little closer and I saw that they had not just stopped, they had stopped mid-step. The one in the front had their front leg raised in the air. The other two were weirdly balanced forward, a position that would be difficult to maintain. I assumed they had not seen me and were doing some sort of performance, or that they had seen me. Then I spotted it, the thing that made my skin prickle. Their map was stuck. It was somewhere between the adult woman's hand and the floor, mid-air. It was not touching anything, and I could see it was completely still despite the strong breeze. My mind raced through the options. Wires wouldn't explain how it was still. It was actually something solid, only it looked like thin paper. Either way, I let go of the handle. If they really were performers, no harm in staying inside and leaving them there. I had neighbors, so if there was a problem, then the other people would be aware of it. I rationalized to myself and turned away, unable to get rid of the throbbing cold in my stomach. I walked into my kitchen. I made a mug of tea and sipped it, tried to warm myself despite my already perfectly heated house. Couldn't help myself. I walked over to the window, and they were still there. They hadn't moved an inch. But I was closer now. Looking back, I wish the window had been further away. I wish it was thicker and soundproofed, but it wasn't. So I could hear them. The walkers, they were talking. I could see it now. Their mouths moving just a little to communicate enough. It was hard to make out the words, but the mother and father were talking in an attempt to calm the tone of the daughter. She was sobbing. I felt a pang of sympathy, shame for ignoring them, and rush of fear. I had ignored how wrong this felt, for this was too much. I desperately wanted to go help them, to hug the daughter and tell them it was okay, but I couldn't. I couldn't go outside. Then it would happen to me. And I'm not sure but why I had an overwhelming feeling that the exact same thing would happen to me. I was just getting harder to see them. They had stopped moving as the sun set, and now they're only barely visible from the lights in my house. I remember my neighbors looking down the street. I could see Maureen next door. She was looking out the window like I was. I tried to get her attention, but she was looking at the hikers. I usually avoided calling her. She was nice, but always had some new drama going on. She was just old and bored. So she tends to talk a lot. We've been vague, neighborly friends for a few years. However, I quickly picked up my phone and dialed her number. I saw her turn and walk out of sight before picking up. Hello? Maureen, it's me. Patrick, are you at home right now? Did you see those people outside my house? They've been standing there for hours. It had only been minutes and exaggerated as always. Yeah, I see them. Please don't go outside. I wasn't planning to. Bloody travelers would probably beat up an old woman. I think they're just hitchhikers. Sorry, I think they're just hikers. No need to be worried. I think they're just... I couldn't think of a good reason why they were acting like that, but I wanted to assuage her fears. Well, I was just trying to figure out what they were doing if they needed help. Just don't go outside, okay? Sorry. How you guys doing? We'll get back to the story in a second. Jesus, so loud. Share, copy. There we go. It's silence, but it still makes noise. I heard you the first time. You don't need to worry about me, Patrick. I'm going to call Albert to see if anyone further down the street saw where they came from. Okay, thanks, Maureen. Talk to you in a bit. What's going on? You guys are nuts. Not unlike me last night. Bye, dear. Click. I looked back out at them. Almost impossible to see now. It was because I knew where they were and I couldn't make out their shape. I could still hear them. They were louder now. I could make out a couple words. Just then, over and over. Help. I suddenly cursed living alone, wishing I could at least talk to someone. Maybe if there were houses on the other side of the street, I could at least communicate with the person. But it was just open fields. Little brother. My brother. I used to like that view. I looked down the street again, and again my spine felt like it was crawling out of my body. Maybe I have some sort of ability to spot things that were just out of place in a glance. Something else was wrong. The lights from the houses were out. The only lights that were on were those 3 closest houses on the right. I looked the other way, and they were all on, all the way down the street. That is usually how much later in the night. Usually how it was much later in the night. I looked back and tried to see the details of the blackened out houses. Probably a power cut. But why just these ones? Weren't we all on the same grid? Then a flash. The furthest house down just went out. All of them, all the same time, like a fuse had blown. I frantically reached for the phone and tried to call Maureen again, damning myself for not knowing the numbers of any of my further neighbors. It cut straight to an automated voice. This line is in use. I hung up and started pacing, looking at the 2 remaining lit houses and glancing at the hitchhikers outside. I could see them. I could see the 2 remaining lit houses and glanced. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, I could see them, but I knew I couldn't see them. Jesus. But they were there. The voices were quieter, but they were talking. Could they see me? I had no way of knowing. It was too late now. Should have tried to talk to them earlier. I let out a shriek as my phone burst into life. It was Maureen. Maureen, is that you? Are you okay? No need to shout. I'm fine. A sigh of relief. Cut short as the corner of my vision flashed. The next house had gone dark. And if it was only Maureen's house lit on the right side. Did you talk to Albert? I tried to keep my voice level. I didn't want to panic her. Maybe it was just a power cut. He picked up, but then started talking nonsense. He said his arthritis was acting up worse than usual. He couldn't move. Something about the power cut. He watched me. He wanted me to call the ambulance. But I know how Albert is. He's a hypochondriac. I think we should go check on him. And her lights went out. Maureen? Maureen, are you still there? I could hear her breathing. Patrick, something's wrong. I can't turn around. It's okay, Maureen. Just a power cut. You're just scared. There's something scratching. What? My voice sounded like a child who just heard the monster under their bed talk. On my door. That's that. Just your cat. The voice is open. Then she screamed. I pulled the receiver away from my ear as the loud, piercing shriek filled the air. I could hear it on the phone line from the house directly. Maureen? I sounded at a distance from myself. Click. I'm not sure if I hung up or she did. I looked out the window to try to see the hikers. They were quiet now. They probably heard it too. Felt like I was in a daze, and I stumbled over the sofa and sat stiffly. My laptop was open next to me, half-finished work on the glowing screen. I deleted it and started typing. I'm not sure why. No one saw this coming. Maybe I could warn someone. I typed frantically, fingers moving faster than all the work I'd ever done. Then a flash of my lights went out. The only light was the glow of my screen. The fingers could still move, but I couldn't stand up. I couldn't talk. I know because I screamed. I dare not make any sound now. My laptop is still plugged in and getting power. There isn't a power cut. I haven't heard the hikers since the scream. I hope they're okay. The only thing I can hear is the click of keys and the scratching at my door. So that was that one. How are you guys doing? I did not wake up with a hangover. I slept right through it. It was wonderful. Hey, Smiley, what's going on, bub? Hey, brother, just dropped in. Good to see you, man. It was great to see you partying. Oh, last night? Yeah. Hope should not be afraid to talk. Oh, I always have a blast when I go out. But yeah. It's so quiet here. What are you talking about? Alright, I'm doing another double. What do you mean, Smiley? I wish I was somewhat more social. Well, I mean, you stream, don't you? I work 2 8-hour shifts straight. Why don't you just work 116 and not have the time in between to hate life? And then you'll get overtime faster. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Smiley streams, don't you, Smiley? Yeah. How do I get in the chat? Sign in with Google. Hey guys, my brother's here. Everybody say hi to Chabby's brother. Like my god honest brother is here. What? And he just got a vasectomy done. What? Yeah. Well, my brother's, he's got kids already. Chat. Live chat button. There we go. Get him a bag of peas. He just lost his peas. Poor guy. It puts the Burt's Bees on its lips. Burt's Bees. Yes, sir. Burt's Bees. Hee hee. Let's see if he's able to figure out the chat. Burt's Bees. That's right. You missed it? You missed me saying that? We gotta get a hold of the Burt's Bees people and be like, we've got your spokesman right here. Trying to get my brother in the chat. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's high on the drugs right now. Has been a B word of a weekend. Oh, what's wrong, Smiley? What happened, bud? Love for streaming platform. Yeah, but the problem with Twitch is you don't reach the same audiences as I can, or as you can on YouTube. I don't know how to explain it. It's a different audience, I think. I think there's some programs where I can dual stream, one for YouTube. And one for Twitch. Hi, Brad. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how Twitch works. It confuses me. I'm trying to... Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know. I might do a stream on Twitch and see how it goes. Oh, that's cool. So this is kind of neat. YouTube, no. Well, my chat is in the text. Or my video's in the text. And it was playing it a second ago. Yeah, there it is. From my, that's from my iPhone. Like from the iMessages. It's weird. Yeah, I don't really care about monetizing. I mean, it would be nice to. It would just give ads to y'all, and I don't know if y'all would necessarily like that. But there's things that happen when I get to my certain subscriber mark, and I get recognized by YouTube, and it's like a whole thing. I like money. I like money. Really interested in getting people to laugh at my shenanigans. Yeah. I'm really thinking about trying to put together like a music thing. I think that'd be pretty fun. Like break boxes up of people, and then send all the feeds into a mixer, and then do, you know, live streams with music. I think that could be fun. Oh, popping my toes. Cappy gone wild. Oh, that was last night. Oh, they don't do that anymore, Pip? So I have Amazon Prime. I love me some Amazon. What sweet stuff do you like? For me, I don't know. Nope, gotta be subscribed to a channel to use and not see ads on it, or use ad block, lol. I like I like sweets and cakes and stuff, but every now and then I really don't know. I'm the worst person to ask that kind of question to. We're gonna do one more story, then I'm gonna take a short break and call my brother and make sure I get him set up. You know, he just got out of a surgery, so... Oh, I didn't even know he was gonna have it. But this is called Fuzzy. Oh, he just sent me a video. Let me watch this real quick. Oh. Oh. Oh, he's got cute kids. I love his kids. They're great. I'm the funkle, the fun uncle. But anyways, this is Fuzzy. This is what it's called. It's Fuzzy. How about focus? F is for focus. But here we go. I was jolted out of sleep when my 5-year-old son Kevin jumped on top of me. I let out a little yelp, both out of shock of the impact and from being ripped out of a deep sleep. Still a little disoriented, it took me a few moments to figure out what was going on. No jumping on up and down in the bed, Kevin yelled. Fuzzy came again. Fuzzy came again. I sighed, rubbed my eyes. I checked the clock. It wasn't even 6 o'clock in the morning yet. Kevin continued to jump ecstatically around the bed. By now, my husband was awake and very cranky. He looked over at the clock and, seeing the time, released a frustrated moan. "Jesus, kid, can't you wait until at least 6? He murmured sleepily. He too had been sleeping soundly. Fuzzy came again. I told you he would. Kevin was too excited to care what time it was. It would have been 1 in the morning for all he cared. He's back, he's back. Fuzzy, as he calls him, was as assumed that Kevin's imaginary friend. He described him as Fuzzy, colorful creature that arrives in magical dust or magical mist through his window every night, and they play together. Kevin claimed that he could change colors or even shape, but he was always Fuzzy. My husband and I both dismissed this as imaginary friends phase. As we lived in a somewhat rural area outside the minor city, there was no one around to play with. Every morning he would tell us what he did with Fuzzy last night. His stories would include making puzzles, reading books, jumping around, and cuddling. And one thing that was weird though, the fact that Kevin said, at first told us Fuzzy didn't want us to know about his nightly visits. A bit put off at first, I soon disregarded this as merely childhood's needs to feel special because he had a secret. Hey Brad. This is my brother, Affinity Tumbling. Sometimes I felt the need to check on Kevin at night, just to make sure everything was alright. The main reason I didn't go because Kevin was a light sleeper. In contrast to me and my husband, who were very deep sleepers, and I didn't want to run the risk of waking him up. Kevin had stopped talking about Fuzzy for a couple months back, so we just assumed that he'd grown out of it. I didn't see anything wrong with Kevin bringing Fuzzy back. I was happy as long as he was happy. I was a housewife. My husband worked in the city, was pretty much gone all day, so I cared for Kevin, and he wasn't in school yet. I didn't see anything wrong with Kevin bringing Fuzzy back, yeah. I did get rather annoyed after a while, constantly being bombarded with stories of Fuzzy all day. I smiled at Kevin's enthusiasm, but deep down I felt a sense of dread welling up from the idea of Fuzzy returning. I got out of bed and left the room, leaving my husband to deal with Kevin, and went downstairs. While making breakfast, I decided to check the newspaper. A car crashed on the interstate. Nobody was found. A rich lady donated some money to the state park improvements or something, claiming that the current state was simply unacceptable. There was a short editorial on why kids are doing poorly in schools, and parenting suggestions on the topic. An old man accused of pedophilia and using hallucinogenics on other children to lure children, arrested 3 months ago, was released from jail, and there was not enough incriminating evidence. There was some sports stuff too. I didn't bother to check. I was never really into sports. Later that day, I was in Kevin's room cleaning up, and it smelled funny in his room. In fact, the last time I remembered it smelled like this was the time Kevin talked about Fuzzy. I thought about it for a moment, but I decided to dismiss it as just a fermented body odor from jumping around in his bed and his imaginary friend. I decided to open his window and was giving me a headache. Looking out, I saw Kevin in the yard playing with some of his toys. It had rained last night. The ground was soft and muddy, so I made sure to warn him not to go near the mud. I lowered my head to withdraw back into the room, but I noticed something on the ground beneath the window. 2 holes, about a foot or so apart. They weren't that big, so I wasn't too concerned. It just bugged me. I couldn't think of anything that might have made them. I looked up to ask Kevin if he knew what they were. He might have made them. He moved somewhere else, though. I didn't feel like chasing him down and ask him something so menial. Smiley. The next day, I was wiping down the window in the dining room, which lied directly below Kevin's room. The 2 holes caught my eye again. However, this time, they were bigger than before. At dinner, I decided to ask Kevin if he had been digging in the backyard, and he said no. So I figured it must have been animals or something. That evening, something else occurred to me. I found Kevin in the living room. "Hey, Kevin," I asked. "Why does Fuzzy only come at night? You seem bored lately. You never play with him during the daytime." He simply shrugged. "I don't know," he replied. "He just doesn't." This was when things started to feel a bit off. It never occurred to me before to ask Kevin, or to ask why Kevin didn't play with Fuzzy during the daytime. Probably just this way, or keeping Fuzzy in a more realistic light. If he brought Fuzzy out to show him to us, you would see that it clearly didn't have a fluffy piece of air next to him. Yeah, that's it. That's why. Side effects, what's going on, Bubba? Harry, right? Harry? Nothing much happened for the next week or so. My husband and I went to bed at 10 o'clock sharp as usual. We let Kevin stay up later if he wanted to, so he could play with his imaginary friend. We didn't mind the noise he was making. In fact, if we were asleep, we didn't hear it at all. Hell, a train couldn't wake us up once we hit deep sleep. Every night, Kenny would say something different about Fuzzy. One night he apparently brought a cookie, which I strongly suggest he stole from the cookie jar. And another night, they flew through the clouds on Fuzzy's back. We were happy that our child's imagination was healthy. But with that feeling, the feeling that something was slightly off never went away. The next week, I had started putting Kevin to bed on the same time we went to bed, and later on, earlier than us. School was coming up soon, and I wanted him to be in a normal biorhythm, so he could wake up early. But of course, this disrupted his Fuzzy schedule. He would not go to bed without a fight. As days passed, it became visibly obvious that he was not getting sleep when he was supposed to, and instead probably getting up after we fell asleep. Dark circles around his eyes formed. He was whinier than ever, and almost impossible to deal with, leaving him utterly exhausted the next day. Needless to say, I had no trouble falling asleep that week. I was getting sick of my authority being undermined, so I decided to stay up. One night in order to catch him in the act. I went to bed as normal. I got up and moved to a chair. In about 30 minutes period of me sitting there, I began to doze off. I decided I would go get some help and shake this out. I crept downstairs to make a quick batch of coffee. The feeling that something was wrong never alleviated itself. It felt like my mother's instinct was going off, but I didn't know why. I stood in the kitchen sipping my coffee for what seemed to be ages. Frequently glancing at the clock didn't help. I spent most of the time reading the newspaper, and every time I began to doze off, I would get more coffee. Accustomed to the other silence, I just jumped a little when I heard a little thump coming from up the stairs. The clock read 12:30. I had no idea Kevin had the capability to wake for more than 3 hours for a stupid imaginary friend. I quietly set my stuff down on the kitchen table and tiptoed to the stairs. I made sure to avoid the creaky steps as I slowly ascended into the darkness of the second floor. Just as I reached the top step, I heard Kevin's voice from down the hallway. "Fuzzy!" It was now blindingly obvious that Kevin was awake. I heard another thump from Kevin's room as I slowly made my way down the hallway. I thought about calling him by name and scolding him right then, but decided against it. It would only serve to alert him. It looked funny. Sorry, guys. It would only serve to alert him of my presence, allow him to retreat under the covers and pretend he was asleep. The feeling that something was wrong grew into a minor, almost unbearable. A soft hissing noise coming from his room was now within earshot. I reached the door gulping. I silently gripped the handle and turned it and pushed inward. As I was opening the door, Kevin's window came into view. It was wide open, and in it a ladder. I flung the door wide open and nearly fainted. There in the middle of the room was an incredibly hairy, naked old man wearing a gas mask. He was feeding hallucinogenic gas up to Kevin's nose. Oh. Oh, well, that's a messed up story. Was an incredibly hairy, naked old man wearing a gas mask. He was feeding hallucinogenic gas up to Kevin's nose. Jesus Christ. That was a little too real, wasn't it? My neck is sore. I don't think I was headbanging last night. Yeah. I don't know what I'd have done. I think that would have been a dead old man. Stacy, did you just do that? Stacy just donated $10. I'm sure y'all knew that. Love the thumbnail. I did not know that. Thank you, Stacy. You crazy, crazy man. Giving me all your money. You're not a creepy old man in a gas mask feeding hallucinogenic gas to kids, are you? Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a quick smoke break. And call my brother real quick. Can y'all hang on a second? I'll BRB. But I'll make sure I put some Burt's Bees on. It's good for the lips. Hee hee hee. Even for creepy old men feeding hallucinogenic gas to children. Should never happen. Yeah, bro. Nope. Smoke. Well, Lauren, you were outvoted. I'll BRB. I'm gonna call my brother real quick to get some Uzak going. I really got to be better with that. All right, Burb. what's up, guys? They're going to get right into another story. This is called Ben, a true story. It's a short one, but it's ranked pretty high. Close the ads. Too many ads. It's fine. Mike. There, that should be better. Oh, yeah, it's quiet. Yeah, my bad. I brought a green bag of sunshine. What? I don't know what that means. Oh, I know what that means. I'm stupid. Oh. Anyways, that last one was Mr. Fuzzy. I really liked that story. It was pretty good. I figured out what the two little holes underneath the window were. It was a ladder. Oh man. Hey, funny, how you doing, Bubba? Long time no see. All right, so this has been a true story. I was with two of my friends, Ben and Nick, on holidays when it happened. We were in an isolated part of Greece, somewhere that doesn't show up on the Google Maps for some reason, traveling down a large stretch of road in our hire car in search of the next major city to play in. After initially planning on driving through the night, we accepted that we just lost our way and it was getting too dark to continue, so we pulled into the gas station for directions on where we could stay. Phone's getting in the way. The old man handed us an old brochure of a nearby village and insisted we go check it out. Test. Okay, sorry. Since we were completely lost, we were left with no other option. Something different, we thought. But just how different we could never have guessed. As we took the next turn, we ventured in the headlight-lit darkness. The only form of lodging out there was in remote cabins, separated far apart from each other, for privacy, we guessed. The self-contained cabins had a bathroom, kitchen, queen bed, and a single bed. All that we needed for the night. Nick won the rock off for the single bed. Rock, paper, scissors. Not when you say rock off, that just sounds bad. So Ben and I would be sharing. Nick snores anyway, so I was cool with that. One feature of the cabin that unnerved me, however, was a large square curtainless windows that occupied the entire area of the vacant wall. It bothered me especially now because night had fallen and the light was on the inside, so it acted as a two-way mirror. Anybody wearing black could easily look through the window without being noticed. We made plans to go out that night to the village bar, have some drinks and tell stories, see where the night takes us. We discussed that we would have the key under the rock by the front porch, and if we were split up, whoever came first would leave the door open for the others to get in. Why didn't I say it louder so everyone can hear us, where we can hide it? Ben joked. Oh, why don't you say it louder? Sorry. Can mods ban mods? No. To which Nick found the pleasure in yelling it at the top of his lungs. Luckily, our cabin was so isolated out here, there was no one nearby. I thought to myself as we drove off, it was surprisingly fun at the bar. We had plenty of shots and local drink ouzo until the bar staff informed us that we had drunk their stock dry. It was cheap. It was cheap. It was cheap though, in Greece. Whatever. The next thing I knew, it was late and the bar was closing. We had lost Ben. He must have left without us. Though I don't remember him telling us he was leaving. I thought more slightly concerned by him acting out of character, so we left without him taking the car. I needed to piss badly, and I adjusted my seat as the car headlights momentarily lit up the cabin. We turned into the driveway, the sound of gravel crunching under the tires. We chucked under the rock for the key, and it was gone. We must have We tried the door handle, it was locked. What the F? We both looked at each other. Ben must have come home before us, and he's locked us out. Ben, open up. We need to piss. Hurry up, Ben. We banged on the door. I heard a stumbling inside, like someone literally crawling awkwardly on all fours out of bed. Damn, he must be drunk. I can't hold this piss in anymore, I said. As Nick and I went separate sides of the cabin to urinate, Ben finally opened the door. It felt good urinating, but that feeling was harshly interrupted by what caught my attention in the large window, sending a large shiver up my spine. There was a long, thin set of handprints, only visible on the window from the mist outside. It looked longer than my human hands, much longer, much thinner. Holy crap. I quickly cleared my mind of the scary, irrational images it was creating, as it was certainly just a regular human hand that had been smeared. Because the illusion that it's longer, right? Either way, it occurred to me that someone or something might have been watching us. I hurriedly finished up my business and rushed inside. We are not turning the light on, I thought, to prevent anything from looking at us. As I locked the front door and went straight to bed, Nick fell asleep instantly, snoring before his head hit even the pillow. And after a few minutes of tolerating Nick's inconsistent snore, my droopy eyes fell weary, and I closed them. As soon as they shut, I couldn't help getting a burning feeling that Ben's eyes just opened suddenly, and they were staring straight at me, menacingly. My body rose in temperature, my heart beat quicker as I sensed this. As if Ben was holding his breath, vision fixated on me angrily through the darkness. Sorry if we hadn't gone home with him, jeez. Why would you be so angry? After a few minutes of calming myself with the irrational fear, I drifted off to sleep. Knock, knock, knock. Open up, you said. You wouldn't lock it. Thud, thud, thud. It grew louder. Open the door. It's effing cold out here. This was the single scariest moment of my life. The most paralyzing sensation swept over my body. It was Ben at the door. Suddenly, there was movement in the sheets next to me, something stirring. I got up faster than I ever have in my life and ran to the door. Nick had awoken and come to the same horrific realization as soon as me, right behind me, kicking the door open and fleeing outside of the car. Not only once did we look back, I stared at the car and beckoned Ben to follow, but he did not know what had happened. Still facing me in the room, he turned the light on to see. This was a true story, it really happened. You can ask Nick if you don't believe me, but I wouldn't ask Ben. He doesn't say much anymore after the incident. And whenever questioned about what he saw that night, his face turns pale and expressionless. And he will immediately shut the nearest curtain. Well, I didn't like that at all. Did I miss something? Refuses to talk. Hope you saying refuses to talk is drawing more attention to you. Would you like to talk about something, Hope? Please enlighten us. That was a creepy one. It was. But they don't say what was in the bed, and I don't like that. I mean, I guess that's how creepypastas work sometimes. The girl hiding in my walls. Oh, that burn going down. That was wonderful. One of the kids put a building toy in my drink. You should drink the drink and then eat the building toy. Hope doesn't want to talk. Hope you're talking by saying that. So you do want to talk then. Just realized I have poop on my scrubs. That's disgusting. It's a wooden log. It's a Lincoln log? Been there all this shift. Poor Smiley. Oh, jeez. The horrors you've endured and seen that come from the human body. It's disgusting. I wish I knew what that was. I know I'm probably making a lot of noise playing with the mic, but I see something. I'll stop now. How am I? I'm alright, buddy. Yeah. I'm better than I was last night. Jeez. That fireball just went like it's never not burned. Last night, it was like cinnamon water. It was wonderful. I could have chugged the bottle. Kept taking shots. I'm like, man, this is easy. This is... Oh, man. Oh. Fireball would have been the death of me last night. I'm supervising today. I helped a patient this morning, and now I realized I got a battle wound. Oh. The poople wound. I imagine in your job you've got to have like a sick sense of humor, or it'll eat you up, you know? That's crazy, man. Are you a biohazard? Yeah, you definitely are, I think, right? That's funny. No, so my brother said he had the vasectomy. And they did the lidocaine and whatever else. And they gave him like 3 times the amount of a normal person his size. Like 3 times the amount for a big guy is the amount of lidocaine they gave him, and he still felt everything. I live by myself. Sure, I probably get a little bit on edge. I guess I come to the realization if whatever's in the night wants to kill me, well, it's just gonna have to kill me because I'm too tired to stay awake anymore. I'm not gonna say that's always gonna work, because maybe, you know, there's a house intruder or something like Mr. Fuzzy. I don't know what kind of drugs he was using. Sounds like fun. I'd make him put on clothes, though. They tried to knock me out last time I went to the dentist. I was out for 5 minutes and woke up, and they had to restrain me. Woke up in a wheelchair with drool running down my face. LMAO. Yeah, basically it's an old middle-aged man with a gas mask on, feeding hallucinogenic gas to children. He was the bad guy in one of the stories I just read. Basically, they thought it was Mr. Fuzzy was the imaginary kid, or the imaginary friend. Come to find out, Mr. Fuzzy was a man feeding hallucinogens to kids. But, yeah, this one's called The Girl Hiding in My Walls. Side effect wants some old man to get him high and touch him. It's disgusting. Nursing stories. One is super evil. You like Stacy? She seems nice, bub. From what I saw, she seems like a sweet girl. But this is The Girl Hiding in My Walls. I thought I posted a link for it, but I did not. For the past couple of weeks now, I've been noticing a few odd things in my apartment. It started off with food mysteriously disappearing from the fridge and pantry while I'd be away at work. I didn't think much of it at the time, since every now and then I lose track of my daily eating habits due to my busy schedule, so I simply brushed it off. Eventually it didn't stop there. Almost every night, I could have sworn I heard scuffling, shuffling sounds coming from within the walls. Sometimes when I got home late from work, I'd find both my TV and computer were on. Every time I distinctly remember turning them off before I left. Strangely, the TV always be tuned to the local news. My computer search history would show several results for nearby takeout restaurants. Needless to say, it was freaking me out. The building I lived in had tight security, with officers frequently patrolling the area. And I was located in the part of the city where crime was pretty scarce, considering that I've given a couple of my friends copies of my apartment key to make sure that I didn't misplace them, which I do so often. Thought perhaps one of them was trying to mess with me. I was eager to get to the bottom of this, so I asked if either of them were the culprit. However, they both blatantly denied it. This, of course, put me on edge, so I asked my landlord to check the security footage of my door, or my floor, for any suspicious activity. He immediately began searching through the 2 weeks of recorded footage, looking for unfamiliar faces entering my apartment. He finished his investigation throughout the week, said that he's found nothing out of the ordinary. There's nothing to worry about, he assured me. It's probably all in your head. At the time, I was considering the possibility that maybe he was right. Being a domestic abuse lawyer, I had to deal with a lot of stressful cases, and I thought, and work overwhelmingly long hours. Perhaps the numerous caffeine-fueled nights had constant headaches were starting to get to me. One particular snowy day, I was coming down with a nasty cold. I had to call in sick for the next few days, despite having any reluctant taste or waste some of my days of such a gloomy occasion. I was still glad to be temporarily free from my hectic obligations. It was around 7:30. I was getting really tired. I had finally made it near my apartment on the 6th floor. I had gotten back from picking up some remedies at Walmart and was anticipating a nice long night of peace and relaxation. Just as I stood in my door, I immediately heard a faint shuffling in the distance. My eyes scanned the hallway for signs of life. Nothing. I suddenly heard footsteps quickly creaking on the wooden surface. After listening in closely, I made the chilling realization that these footsteps were coming from inside my apartment. It could have been one of my friends, as I had recently changed the lock due to all the strange thing. Oh, this couldn't be one of my friends. You caught that? Yeah, sorry. A sudden chill went up my spine because I knew right then and there that an intruder was somehow broken in. In that moment, I felt really uneasy. I wanted to run downstairs and call for help, but I knew if I left the hallway at this point, the intruder would definitely make a break for it. Being the naive young man I was, I determined to go inside, grab my gun, and try to apprehend whoever was inside. Taking a deep breath, I slowly unlocked the door and walked in the halfway up and creaked it halfway open. I was instantly hit with a powerful, ghastly odor that made me want to puke. It smelled like something had decayed in there for quite some time. Ignoring it, I cautiously proceeded to the kitchen and grabbed my gun I kept in the top drawer. I grabbed it and opened the lights. To my surprise, the first thing I noticed were several pizza boxes and takeout bags scattered across the ceramic tiles. This struck me as rather odd, because I didn't order any takeout that day. I also noticed that there were food-covered footprints leading directly into the living room. Someone was definitely in there, and it looked like they were in a hurry to remain hidden from me. I slowly made my way into the living room with my gun at the ready. The footsteps led right next to a boarded-up wall that was stationed on the right side of the room. There were a couple of half-broken planks in the middle of it, and I haven't gotten around to fixing it yet. Very carefully, I walked towards the wall for a closer inspection. My heart was beating with every inch I took. I stopped walking around a few feet away from it and began slowly examining it. I couldn't make out anything inside, so I moved my head in closer to search for any signs of life. Again, nothing was completely visible. It was pitch black inside. So this time I pulled out my phone and put it in the wall. I turned the screen on. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw two amber eyes staring directly at me. My heart dropped like a rock. I quickly stumbled across, trying to keep my balance. A sudden rush of adrenaline swiftly filled my entire body. I quickly spoke in the most imitating voice I could muster up. "If you don't get the F out of here right now, I swear I'll blow your effing brains out," I exclaimed. Silence subsequently followed. I was half expecting some demonic lunatic to rush out of there and attack me, so I prepared myself for the epic battle. "Didn't you effing hear me? I'm not messing around." Before I could finish my sentence, I was interrupted by a faint sobbing coming from within the wall. The intruder took a deep breath and spoke in a soft tone. "Please don't hurt me. I'm really sorry for what I've done," the intruder replied. The voice sounded like it belonged to a frightened little girl around the age of 13. This really wasn't a dramatic response I was expecting. I lowered my gun as if tension in the room quickly shifted to confusion. "Jesus, kid, you nearly scared me half to death," I said. "Who are you? What exactly are you doing in here?" No response. It seemed like my initial reaction shook her up a bit. "It's okay, you can tell me. I promise I won't hurt you." I slowly backed away from the wall to assure her I wasn't a threat. "See?" After a brief moment of silence, she replied once more. "My name is Maple," she said in a jittery voice. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. I only wanted to get away from my mean parents." "Maple?" I paused for a moment, trying to recollect where I've heard that name before. Then it hit me. Maple was a little girl that went missing in the area several weeks ago. The media reported that she allegedly ran away from home after her parents had physically abused her last Christmas. She must have slipped in my apartment when I forgot to lock the door that day. At that moment, I felt genuinely sympathetic, mostly because I've dealt with quite a few runaways in my line of work. Poor thing must have been scared to death. I guess then I ran out of food. She decided to break into my neighbor's apartment, and help herself to the leftovers. She's probably dropped it all on the floor and to make her break for it once again. She heard me come to the door. I remembered at this point that there was a police car right outside of the building, so I figured that I should try to at least comfort her before calling the cops over. "It's okay, sweetie. Everything's gonna be alright." I assured her, "Just please come out so we can make sure you're okay." She suddenly stopped sobbing and became quiet. Dead silence filled the room as I anxiously awaited a response. She was almost starting to freak me out. Are my levels okay? After a minute or so time passed, she finally said something. "Okay, but could you first put your gun on the floor and come closer? I need your help getting out." Her voice sounded slightly deeper this time. The sudden shift in tension kind of threw me off at first. I wanted to comply with her demands, but I had this strange, eerie feeling deep inside that something was off. At the time, I couldn't make out what it was though. Giving in to my paranoia, I thought it was best that I just left her there when I went to go get help. Actually, just wait here, Maple. I'll be back soon with the—" "Wait, don't go," she interrupted, a surprisingly loud and desperate plea. The sudden outburst made my whole body flinch. "You can't leave me in here. My ankle, it hurts really badly. I think I've twisted it and slipped on the floor. I don't think I can get out on my own. You have to get me out of here right now. This place is really creeping me out." I hesitated for a moment. Believe me, I wanted nothing more than to help her out. There was something about her tone that made me feel she wasn't completely telling the truth. My intuition was usually pretty good at judging whether or not someone's lying, so I was inclined to follow my gut feeling. "I'll only be a couple minutes. Hang in there, kiddo. I promise I won't be long." I quickly ran out of my apartment before she could say another word. After a brief elevator ride, I sped across the hall, out the spinning doors, and into the freezing weather. To my relief, I found a slightly chubby officer talking to his slim partner right across the street from me. I ran towards them, eager to tell them everything that went down. Before I could make it there, however, I froze. My heart sank as I remembered something that will forever send a chill down my spine. I couldn't believe I didn't make a realization until now. That couldn't have been the same missing girl, because last night she was found murdered a couple blocks away. Her lifeless body was discovered stuffed inside the wall of a vacant apartment. It was all over the news this morning. Struck in awe, I was left nervously wondering what the hell was hiding in my walls this entire time. I wasted no time as I rushed to the police officer, frantically told them everything, like a nervous wreck. At first, they thought it sounded a bit sketchy, but after I persisted for a few minutes, they finally persuaded them to follow me to take a look. Without catching my breath, I ran back to my apartment with the officers, following close behind. When we made it into my living room, I showed them that there was an intruder was hiding. The chubby officer told me to step back. They both drew out their guns and pointed them at the wall. "This is the police. I want to get you out of here this instant. Put your hands on the ground." The officer's demands were met with silence. "You have 5 seconds to comply, or else I'm dragging you out." Still nothing. The slim officer nodded, cueing his partner to go in. His partner
pulled out a flashlight and slowly walked towards the wall with his gun still drawn out. I anxiously watched as he made his way through the wall and put his head inside. He began thoroughly searching both sides. "Did you find anything?" the slim officer said. "Nope, it's all clear," he replied. "But I can tell you something's been hiding in." Before he could finish his sentence, he paused. He put his head in deeper for a closer inspection. "Hold up, I think I see something." Judging by the surprise in his voice, I had that feeling that he was about to discover something really disturbing. I could feel it in my bones. "What is it?" his partner cried out. The chubby officer took his head out of the wall and looked at his partner with a shocked expression. I think I could see a couple of bodies inside." Those words made my entire world turn upside down. I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You sure about that?" the slim officer asked. Yeah, I'm sure of it," he exclaimed. "My God, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. These bodies, they look so mutilated. Just what the hell happened in here?" "What are you guys talking about?" Best way to cure. Yeah. Oh, is she? You stay under there for now, okay? We'll talk later. We'll do an interview. Swear to God, if something said something, like something says, "Okay." Oh my God, I'd freak the fuck out. I would so freak out. I don't even know if I'd grab my phone in time. I'd fling my chair backwards and bolt. Oh, why not eat any random mushrooms? I need some when I get off. I'm stoked. The unsettling thought that I just was feet away from human corpses made my stomach turn. The powerful stench of decaying flesh made its way to puke my guts out. I knew then and right then that whoever had been hiding in my walls this whole time was definitely not a little girl. Help me break this wall. One of them could still be alive. The slim officer put his gun back in his holster and walked towards the wall. I watched them from about 15 feet away as they both started breaking down the old planks one by one. They quickly teared off 3 rows of them with ease while blood started pouring out in the excess amounts. Suddenly, out of nowhere, several lifeless, dismembered bodies, fell right into the wall and back onto my floor. My eyes grew wide with shock. Most of their flesh looked like it had been violently bitten off. Their mutilated faces were completely unrecognizable. The disturbing thought of immense pain these victims must have suffered was simply too much to take in. Upon taking a closer look at the type of clothes that they had on, I made a chilling realization of who they were. They were all food deliverers from several nearby restaurants. I could barely make out the restaurant logos on their violently shredded and blood-soaked shirts. I wanted to look away from the gruesome sight. There was something above the bodies that caught my eye. It looked like something written in blood inside the wall. At first, I couldn't make it out what it said through the dark room. I slowly walked closer to read it, my body in shock at its very core as I realized what it said. "You're lucky you didn't do what I asked." Well, yeah. You would have a meeting? Even if they like rippled or something, I'd lose my shit. I would totally lose it. I need need sleeping pills. I'll go and get some in a little bit. That's totally what would happen. Do I really believe in ghosts? Yeah, I really do. I believe there can be stuff out there that we don't understand. Chappie is a ghost. Twist! The M. Night Shyamalan. Robot chicken. Eats a twist. It's funny. Have I ever had experiences? Yeah. Like my bed in Japan it was tugging from underneath. And I could feel my body going like this. Like very slightly, but I could feel it. Hope, is that bread? That would be super awesome. Or that I knew what y'all are gonna say. I don't know. Have I ever experienced sleep paralysis? No, it's fine. Yeah, I only experienced sleep paralysis if, like, when I was in school. This is gonna sound really weird. If I was in school or if I was in my truck and we were down, we didn't have any work going on and everybody was cabbed up. But I actually kind of like sleep paralysis. That sounds really weird, because I don't get that foreboding feeling. I just get the compression, and it feels nice. Like when I feel it, I can make it more. I don't know how to explain this. I can make it feel like more pressure. Hiding behind you, Smiley, whispering. To move in the dream, I'm actually trying to move on. Yeah, I mean, I only get it, like I said, in very specific. Like, I'm sitting up and I'm in my work truck. I'm going like this. And I can feel it coming on, and then I can force it to come on harder. I can make a really dark comment. That would be messed up. Go ahead and make a dark comment. Just no F words. I say that, and then I realize your comment was way more effed up, and I'm like, oops. Now go ahead. Did you live in Japan? I did live in Japan. I was stationed there. It was something else. Master of the Paralysis. No. Not Master of the Paralysis. But, the sleep paralysis, I mean, I'm sure if I got that foreboding feeling, like something was watching me and it was happening, I wouldn't like it. But the sleep paralysis, when it happens to me, I fully accept it. I love it. It's a wonderful feeling. They're all made up. Even the ones that say true story, or I'm sure are all made up. It's quite surreal to be alone in the room cleaning them. Sometimes the imagination goes wild. make you completely unable to move, and it scares the heck out of me. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say it's easy to wake up from sleep paralysis. I mean, I can wake up from it, but it really feels like it. I feel really, really tired if I wake up from sleep paralysis. I don't know how to explain that. Like if someone's calling me, I really want to see a ghost. Well, guess what? You gonna see one tonight? It's gonna put Burt's Bees on you. I'm very skeptical, as you should be. I don't know. You have to just, I don't know, man. If you want to see ghosts, I wish there was an actual way of like saying you'll see ghosts tonight. Do this. I mean, I believe there could be something that we don't understand, you know. But and it's fun. I mean, you know, people believe in religion. They find proof where they need it. So maybe people that believe in ghosts find proof that they believe it in the simplest of things. You know what I mean? Bees plus ghost stories. Birds, bees plus ghost stories. Ghosts love some Burt's Bees. Hee hee. I don't know. One may consider as proof for the supernatural. Excuse me. That was loud. What else you got funny? Let me see. I was a kid when my family was at my grandma's house at the Christmas Eve. I think funny's typing. You'd listen to this today? Let's see what this is. American Horror Story audiobook. Oh. Awesome. That's cool. My dad and my uncles staring at the clock in the living room because it had stopped. Some kind of clock that isn't supposed to stop. Like a grandfather clock isn't supposed to stop, not unless it really breaks. Not if it's wound up properly. My dad and my uncles looked at each other and agreed that something must have just died. I am a veteran, yes. Did you listen to the whole 11 hours, Cougar? That's pretty nuts. Please explain what? That I'm a veteran? 8 years of the Air Force, United States Air Force, America. Yeah, I fixed electronics on aircraft. Thank you for your service. Well, you're welcome. Half an hour later, my cousin called and said that his dad died from a heart attack. question is, why would a clock care about people dying? It's a good question. I like what Pip said. Grandfather clocks tend to stop when their owner dies. I think it... I'm going to give a really bad example. But let's say, you know, you do the same routine day in and day out. And things change, but for the most part, it's the same story. And, let's say it's not created a perpetual movement, but it's like maybe because it's happened every day, it's gonna happen every day. But then when a person dies, the clock stops working because it's not caught in that loop of the everyday doing the same thing. I don't know how to explain it. It was a long time ago when I heard the explanation about ghosts and stuff, like why you can see ghosts. Like there's 2 times a ghost. There's like one ghost that can respond and haunt, and there's another ghost that just always does the same thing over and over again because that's what they always did, or that's how they died. But I mean, I guess there was a story about a doctor that was weighing people as they died. I don't know if it had any credit to the story, but why did people lose something like 8 pounds or 2 pounds when they died? It's not air in your lungs, it's already accounted for, right? It's not the blood in your body, it's not leaking out. It's not the excrement or the urine that you expose or expel when you die, because the way he had him, it was in like a bed with a lip going up. Or was it a few grams? I don't know. It was something. I think you're right. It's like 2 grams or something really small. But why does that happen when a person dies? You know, maybe there is such thing as a soul. Is it weird that we can tell the difference between a living body and a dead body, generally? It's called 24 grams. Is that what it is? I knew I was misspeaking. Let me see. People appear linked to unpredictable ways. I don't know, I can't find it. Die. What conclusion could we get from there? I mean, are we saying that the human soul has mass? If so, you know. Was it scary out there in war? I didn't fight war. My friends fought war. I fixed airplanes. Not generally. It sucked. It wasn't wonderful fixing airplanes. Very wild guess. The human soul has a mass. equals a very wild guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're insinuating at that point. It could be the release or the use of all the DMT in your body. You know, it turned into energy for your body to use, and well, now it's gone. I don't know. I don't imagine there's that much DMT in your body when you die. Stuff. Use any number of unknown things. 24 gram explains. Being it. One thing we have faith exists without proof. Maybe it's an alien probe. It teleports after you. I mean, it could be. We don't know. That would be a waste of food. Well, if it's in the brain, I mean, we don't. Maybe they could localize. They could find out if it's in the head or if it's in the body or in a limb or something. Hey, Chappie, I found a ghost pic. Send it to me on Twitter. Or post it here if you got the link. Chewing on my plastic water bottle thing again. Stacy, you can find Hope on Twitter. Super creepy. Super creepy. Chappie mustache. Oh yeah, I need to shave that off. I need to shave this off. I don't really care about this. There's the link. Thank you, Hope. That's a creepy monster. Is if I miss the bus. Oh, your bus drivers control time theory again. It's true. Tell her I sent you if you go to her channel. Same kind of argument can be made about transferring your conclusions to a computer in the future. Really? Just be a copy. Oh, your consciousness. Here's my question about that. Have you ever thought about this? Like, how do you know if you're not an exact copy of yourself yesterday? And does that make you any less you? Does that make sense? It's weird. Here's another. Oh, he looks happy and angry at the same time. Teleportation kills. Our cells dying, we were replaced over time. Yeah. Oh, he looks happy he's listening to music. He looks happy when he lost arms. Oh, it's called 21 Grams. The trailer for the 2003 movie 21 Grams starts off with a sentence. It is both authoritative and inexact. It says that we are all we lose 21 grams to the exact moment we die. But the science behind the sentence adds up to 0. criticisms. Clark criticized the experiment's validity. Clark noticed that at the time of death there was a sudden rise in body temperature as the lungs are no longer cooling blood, causing a subsequent rise in sweat, which could easily account for McDougal's missing 21 grams. Clark also pointed out that, as dogs do not have sweat glands, they cannot lose weight in the manner of after death. Clark's criticism was also in the May issue of American Medicine. Arguments between McDougall and Clark debating the validity of the experiment continued to publish in the journal until at least December that year. Oh. I don't know what that word means, Sioana. Future aren't even real. All there is now, this moment. The past is just impressions left by the present, and the future is just an idea. Well, I mean, really, there is past, because as light travels, you know, all the stars we see are in the past, right? They're not in the now. If they're a million light years away, it's taken them a million years to reach our planet. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. The past, but everything is really happening all at once. Perceive it. It's a good argument, though. I mean, I don't know. Linear time itself is a construct. Just no matter. 9, 10. It's a 10 turn. Dang old dang 10 turn. The 5K. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, that's a 10 turn also. Thought I had a 5 turn up here. Or 5. Yep, 5 turn. Are you? A 1K 5 turn. Son bitch, I needed you a few weeks back. I'm calming now, guys. Well, right on, Hope. I'm gonna have to go get sleeping pills pretty soon. Chappie can fall asleep. Gravity isn't real per se, it's just the fabric of space-time and how we make sense of it in the physical. There's always a layer of oxygen molecules between you and the things you touch. That's true, except for in, what are they called? There's machine blocks that they're flat on either side, and you stick them together, and you can't take them apart. It's because they say that you push all the oxygen out when you put the blocks together. They're called, what they called? called... gauge blocks. That's what they're called. Check out gauge blocks. Those things are pretty insane. This is what a gauge block set looks like. Oh, jeez. I need to lock that. Give me a second here. Background lock. Camera lock. Yeah, so these blocks right here aren't magnetic, but they're covered in a really, really light oil. You don't ever want them to not be oiled, but you stick them together and you turn them, and they'll lock together. It's kind of crazy. McSoy, you said you found a bag of green stuff earlier, right? Was that you that said that? I don't remember who. I don't doubt the validity of your arguments. No, I actually do doubt it. I don't think we could figure out unified field theory. That would... No, but actually I did 2 weeks ago. That'd be kind of funny, though. That was a joke, John. Oh, I think that was John. Yeah, I think it was too. But I work at a grocery store and found a very nice stack of pleasures in the cooler. Oh yeah? And string theory is just a model for an attempt to explain stuff. Oh, you guys. You guys are funny. How Colin Kaepernick beat the NFL. I just lost because I read it out loud. I don't care how anybody did anything. Urban economics wants to fix food. I'm sorry, I said economics. I meant urban organics. Not sure if someone was trying to do a Breaking Bad style dead drop or what. Well, and no one had to know it was you that found it. Was it good stuff, bud? I read one book, The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. Well, I think I'm an expert on physics. Why is there something rather than nothing? Maybe it's physically impossible for nothing to exist. I was a little scared. Some kind of sting operation. But I live where it's legal. Nice. Maybe someone was just trying to keep it cold. Like, man, I like the cold, I like the really chilled kush. It's really got to be a surreal feeling, knowing your whole life that it's illegal, knowing, and then one day they're like, hey, you can do it now. And you're like, what? Like, I imagine some people didn't change their view on anything, because some jobs just, you can't smoke a ganj because you just can't. I wonder if you can sous vide weed. Hmm. Oh, yeah. You almost went to prison for that once. That's terrible. Um, be in all states. It was legal in Germany to have gay sex till the 1990s. Oh, it was legal, yeah. Um, way of life is exactly the same. Now I can go into a shop and buy it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's the fact that you can now. About 5 years. Jesus, man. Just for some happy stuff. That's crazy. Yeah, don't do it in Texas, you know. We don't let that. You know, I know people that do, but that's no, that's nuts. I truly feel like it should be legal everywhere. I mean, look at what it's doing for Colorado's economy. It's booming. Um, I mean, I don't know if it's still booming for them. Um, I'd also like to think that maybe lawmakers aren't so stupid that they know that if they just kept it illegal, how do I explain it? Like, they know that if they made it legal, they could probably profit on it before anybody else could, or profit more from it than anybody else. I don't think that they're stupid enough to think that it's a drug, that it's a gateway drug. Like, probably most of them don't. Maybe some of them do. Alcohol is much worse for you. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there was that whole thing saying wine is good for you, but probably not getting drunk on it. So I learned a lot, though. Yeah, I bet you did. Clicky, clicky. Sound is choppy. It's fixed now. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think it's good now. Um, who's paranoid? I'm not paranoid. Are you watching me? You're watching me, man. I should be paranoid. Mike. Yeah, we got it already. Thanks, Cougar. Like, I wonder, I bet everybody's chat's a little bit different. Like, if I chat in the chat, or if someone says something because they're further away than from where this is originating, that they say stuff before other people do because that's how they perceive it. YouTube's weird like that. I mean, I guess that's good because you don't have to sync everybody's computers. It would be a nightmare because you'd have to sync to the slowest computer. It just comes as it comes. We got 14 people in here. It's pretty crazy. So, I mean, are we gonna figure out, your chat messages appear about 5 seconds before we can see you typing the video. So I'm gonna type right now. So I'm gonna write test, and I'm gonna hit it now. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. About 10 seconds. That's nuts. That's between me typing and the chat box. And then you heard me say test, and then I saw where y'all typed test. Test appeared the moment you said. So when I said I type right now. Yeah, that means you're buffering a little bit. Kind of crazy if you think about it, man. Ooh. It's weird that your video and your chat aren't the same speed. I mean, which makes sense, because your computer or your phone has to decode all these pixels. But chat right here is just chat. It's easy to overlay. Buffett, oh yeah. So this isn't live? Brain broken. Don't think anything into it, man. It will hurt your head. I am live. But, I mean, I'm not. Stuff also sometimes appears in a different order in the chat from the video. It does, yeah. Different lag. So we're all experiencing different moments in time. You're all experiencing me in a different way. It's kind of a trippy way to think of it. Like you're all seeing a different stream. So time is a construct. Yeah, it's what we perceive it as, right? I wonder if this charger works. Not really that I'd use it. I can't remember the last time I replaced batteries in my mouse. Pretty crazy. Our only model of time is a construct. Does not mean there is not something that actually is time. Reading children's books. Be back soon. Shake this existential crisis I'm having thanks to these time conversations. Like I'm in the same time zone and I still feel 13 hours away. What kind of mouse before I go? Oh, it's a Logitech M510. Focus. 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 Oh, you're trying. Yep, that's my mouse. She has some battle scars. I love this mouse. It's a good mouse. I can go forward and back and stuff. Scroll. Oh. Oops. Time keeps on slipping. Dude, I have the same mouse. Never changed batteries ever. 6 years. I'm not even kidding. I think I've changed the batteries once in this mouse. But I'm pretty sure I got the low power light the other day. I was getting low power light. But, oh, it went away. I like the cheap Microsoft mice. Sometimes I have to take out the batteries and put them back in, but that's the best mouse ever made. I'm sure they make better mice, but I mean, I love this mouse. I don't know what to, you know, it's even got a little cubby hole for the, my old mouse, you used to take off the top and put the batteries in like this or something. I don't know what happened to that mouse. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good mouse. Keyboard, I need to get a new keyboard. The little insignia, the bump on the F has gone away, and it's really messing with my typing. Cubby hole for the dongle. That's right, cubby hole for the dongle. Like I feel like I should scribe the F button, so I sure I have something to scribe it with. Hey, look at that! I found the other USB for my LEDs. I just need a thing to plug them in. I probably have. Oh, I do have one. Look at me. It's stupid things. It's like finding your cigarettes on the stove. Holy crap. Apple's really killing me with this charger thing. But I figured it out. Let's try this. Oops, you go back there. Hot dog. Hey, Jason. Oh, we're going straight into to trippy. Holy crap. Holy crap. Come on. Come on. There it goes. That should be brighter now. Let's see. That's better than that. Yeah, that's good. Percent of all the movies I can watch. And am I normal? I have about 95% of all movies, and I can't watch them to the end. Why can't you watch them to the end, bud? Do you fall asleep, or you just get tired of them? Where'd my tape go? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of different, I guess. So what's going on, Jason? If you're still in here, you like to pop in and leave because they're all boring and stupid. Not to put too fine a point on it, I see. You know, each their own, right? Nothing wrong with that. I need to tape this to the side of my desk. What? What? Our friend Side Effects was streaming earlier, asking about you. Trying to get you to come into the chat, but we told him you're busy. Hey, Chappie, talking to a big mamba online. I don't know what that means, but good luck, bud. Kick ass, sea bass. Most haven't been watching, but most people don't even start watching 95% of them. Most aren't worth watching. I was probably asleep. That's fine. That happens, man. Yeah, I don't know. Even if it's a bad movie, I usually feel obligated to finish it. If that makes sense. But I'm not going to disagree with you. A lot of movies are just terribly written cliches. Unless they're meant to be terribly written cliches. Or that they're so terrible that they are on that you just gotta watch a train wreck of a movie, if that makes sense. The time sunk fallacy. What is that, Pip? The premises are usually stupid already. Yeah. Um, I don't know. Um, like I think a lot of times, that, like the book. Well, no, every time the book is better than the movie, and it's just you have one person trying to relay what the author had intended or the writer had intended, and it's or sometimes they're just both bad. Where do my almonds go? There they are. Oh, you've probably sunk time into it. Might as well keep going till the end. Yeah. Oh, I only have a couple almonds left. That stinks. I'm gonna have to get me another bag. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. If I'm watching a movie, I usually don't have anything better to do. I mean, now I can just stream, right? So now I don't watch movies at all anymore. I only really go out one night a week. Watch House. What's House? Is that a really terrible movie too? I think I'm out of water. Water. More water. Wants to drink it. I used to watch movies when I lived in Austin. I would order a late night movie or late night pizza when I'd come home from the bar. And then just turn on Netflix and just pick a movie and then eat pizza. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Funny. What's it called? Must not have been that popular. That's a weird ass movie, Jason. Bird Box was just weird and predictable. Yeah, I don't know, but Game of Thrones is awful. I'm going to bed. Peace. I've got an Oscar or two. It got an Oscar or two. What got an Oscar? Bird Box? What's a really good movie? Funny. What about Scanners? Hey, thanks for subscribing. No worries, buddy. Thanks for being here and spending your time with us. Side effect, have a good night, Bubba. Sleep well. Don't let the fuzzy men see you. What are you talking about, Funny? So confused right now. Scanners was mind-blowing. Which one is Scanners? Is that the one where where everything shifts at night or something like that? I don't know. No Country for Old Men. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that one, Bubba. Scanner's head explodes scene. Oh, Scanners was mind-blowing. Which one is Scanners? $1981. Or is that the one where they made the guns out of like weird bone parts? Old movie called Screamers. Not sure I do, but I might. They have psychic powers. Let's see what we got here on the old that's still too bright. It's very bright, but less bright. One Canadian science fiction horror, written and directed by David Cronenberg. Came to kick ass and chew bubblegum. Looks like I'm all out of gum. The last head explosion scene was a product of trial and error, eventually setting on a plaster skull and a gelatin exterior packed with latex scraps, some wax and some bits and bobs. A lot of stringy stuff we figured would fly through the air better, as well as leftover burgers. Dark City is a cool movie. Is that the one where, I don't know. I just need to sit down and watch some of these old movies again. I haven't done this in a while, but I used to buy movies on my it's a pretty good movie. It's Rudderless. It's this one right here. That one. The other one on that one's terrible, I think. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to watch it again. Oh no, Time Trap wasn't bad. It was alright. But yeah, it was pretty terrible. Rudderless, that was a good movie. That was a really good movie. The Walking Dead from episode 1 on. Hello, Jason. Cool guy, thumbs up, hamburger, burrito, taco, croissant. Something frying. I don't know what that is. Some type of meat with the leg, a cookie, and a smiley face. Someone's got the munchies. If you guys want to hang on a couple minutes, I want to run to the store, get me my sleeping pills, and some water. I'm all out of water. This is really upsetting me. But will y'all hang on a second? How many people we got in here? We got 15 people in here. This little channel's growing. That's awesome. Just jog there and back. No need for sleeping pills. Unfortunately, you should check out Primer. Prepared to watch at least 3 times. No clue what's going on. I'll have to check that out, funny. Primer? Which one is that? Is that the box one? No, this can't be the same movie. Is it the same movie? Where they make a box and... Is that it? Yeah! Yeah, I love that movie. That was a really good movie. Yeah, that was a really cool movie. I like the premise. It's been a while since I've watched it. I'll have to watch it again. But yeah. I remember that was, I mean, it's really like just yeah, I thought that was a pretty good one. Time Crimes is great. Stacy, what did you retract? Oh, we're down to 12 people. People noticed that I was there, or I noticed that they were there and they left. It's the CIA not giving me thumbs up again. You know who you are. David, I pulled the tree out of the ground and used the root mass of the head as real false teeth. Knock somebody's ass out. What? I'm so confused. But you're talking about a walking stick. I need to rewatch Sin City. I really like the movie. Was it Let Me In? Yeah, Let Me In. I really, really love that movie. It's not even really a horror movie. Chappie thinks it's pretty cool. What's that, David? You talking about the walking stick? That's what Stacy does, by the way. He makes walking sticks. Sin City is good. Yeah. It is really good. I don't think I've watched it more than a couple times, but it's I'm not gonna say really good, but pretty good, I guess. Walking Dead walking stick / defense stick. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. But if you guys want to hang on a second, Jacob's Ladder is the best. What is that, a movie? I'm gonna throw on my boots and run to the store real quick. I mean, not literally run. It just looks funny on my camera. Hop in the truck and drive there. Socks on first, though. What's Jacob's Ladder about? Insanity by hallucinations and flashback. Singer rapidly falls apart. Around him morphs and twists in disturbing images. Things about Jacob Singer's nightmares that he isn't dreaming. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've seen that one. My Walking Dead shillelagh that I made. Did I say that right? Shillelagh? Yeah, going watching movie blind, it will blow your mind. I mean, I've probably seen it before. You know, back when I was a kid. Oh, okie dokie. Yo, pills, chappy. Yeah, because I don't want to have to call into work tomorrow because I couldn't sleep all night because I threw off my sleeping schedule. What is going on here? It's like whatever. Really, really good movie. Alright, guys, I'll BRB and shizzle. Well, let me make sure I got my wallet. What's in my pocket? Ah! A nickel. Looks like it fits right there. Burp. Probably just scratched up my lens. I get these ideas in my head. I just gotta try it before the idea escapes. One day it's gonna pay off one day. There's my wallet. My cards. Alright guys, I'm gonna put on some music. Y'all want creepy music or y'all want like electronic music or we'll go to electronic music. Maybe. And it's not working. That's fine, creepy music it is. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Alright. EDM. I've got no EDM. Oh wait. I mean, I have that one. I don't know if that's any better, but I'll BRB in a few minutes. If y'all want to hang out. And yeah, be right back, guys. That probably didn't scare you. It's fine. Hi. How y'all doing? Looks like we lost some people. Bought me a whole bottle. I have laptop and music. I got water. I did get water. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Water. Also got chips and salsa. Because you know what? Really screw my acid reflux. That'll be good for me. I would like a drink. This big old box. This big old box for this little bitty pill. Like, really, guys, you couldn't. And there's only 20 in here. I can't get the dang, there we go. Yeah. Blue Sleepy Time pills. And they went bye-bye. Hey, Lego man. Long time no see, I guess. Ha! That's what Lauren said. That's how that's pronounced. Ha! Alright, let's have a couple chips and Tostitos. Chunk ass salsa. I like the medium stuff. I don't like the spicy. Ooh, that was a hell of a... Oh, guys, you should smell that. Oh, it's so good. It's so hearty. Yeah, they didn't have just regular chips, so I got Doritos. Cool Ranch. Hope this doesn't... The flavor doesn't mess with each other. It's alright. I also have ice cream sandwich that I could go grab. I was thinking about that. Had a craving for those when I was pregnant with my second daughter. Chips and dip. It's not a really weird craving unless you just never eat chips and dip. Like salsa verde. Chappy eating chippies. That's right. We have this lady that comes and delivers breakfast tacos. Like what you people would call a burrito, and in Texas we call them tacos. I don't know, but some people call them burritos. But this stuff with one of those, oh, so with egg and sausage and then salsa, oh my god, so freaking good, so good. Oh. Chili cheese Fritos and salsa, huh? Lick it off my... I can't. If I could lick down there, I would not be doing this stream. Be honest with you. I got it all over my shirt. Like, blip, 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 blip. Well, I'm not wearing this shirt tomorrow. Womp womp. I think if most men could look down there, they wouldn't do anything but do that. I think CN1 has lost it. Tell me how the weather is where you're at. And you're... You went crazy. I don't know. Call that salsa cologne. You know, salsa is the #1 condiment in the world. Nom nom nom. You're welcome. Would it mess y'all up if I talk like this all the time? Just out of like sync with my lips, and you know, I don't want to mess y'all up. Yeah, that'd probably mess y'all up. So what if you call Doritos tacos? What do you call a taco? I don't know what you mean. I mean, like a Taco Bell taco is a... But I haven't had Taco Bell in a very long time. I kind of feel bad for them. They're right next to the Chick-fil-A. And at lunch, Chick-fil-A is like surrounded by cars. And Taco Bell's got like one guy going through it. The whole house feels brittle. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that sounds terrible. Do the inmates make their own salsa too? Cool Ranch is the best Dorito. Been wanting Taco Bell for like a month, but it's too far away in the snow. Sorry to hear that. I will go to Taco Bell and get you some, and then put it in a box and next day air it. Can't guarantee that it's going to turn out good, but I can try. My nephew just threw up from Taco Bell. Sorry to hear that, bud. It sucks. Oh, we're back to 13 people. Yeah, that would be nasty. I mean, I don't know. I can vacuum seal it. I've got a vacuum sealer. And then you can, like, before you cut it open, just sous vide it in some water. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a thing. Chappie's package came. It's Taco Bell. Taco Bell is the only craving because if you eat it, it's a regret. No, you know what? Like, my favorite thing from Taco Bell is like a Mexi Melt with no pico. A double-decker taco with no tomatoes. And then like either a chalupa or a quesadilla or a burrito. Not a hot tamale if you sick. other stuff without the meat on it. Like a bean and cheese burrito or a cheese quesadilla. Buncha crunch. Buncha crunch? Crunch a bunch? Munch a bunch? Munch a bunch? Crunch? I don't know. I think I want an ice cream sandwich. Oh yeah, I don't like those cinnamon things. That they're too hard. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't had them in so long. But, 1 second, guys. Let me put this in the fridge and then grab an ice cream sandwich. Ice cream sandwich. Ooh, I gotta pee. Be right back. Watch anyone eat. Just Chappie. What? That's weird. Long walks. I like long walks to the taco truck. What are y'all talking about? I went to Taco Bell last week and I hammered back 12 tacos. California burrito from Alberto's. Good. It's a lot of banging tacos. Also eat 2 medium pizzas in 1 sitting and 2 cans of pop. LOL. Should make that a video. Call it soda when you make that video. Stacey, that's pretty easy if you're hungry enough. Kind of want to see that. Want to watch anyone else eat? Just Chappie. Like Long walks the taco truck. Thought for a second Chappie cut his hair. No. No. No haircuts for Chappie for a little bit, at least. So good. Bowl cut Chappie. When you decide it's a no. Not gonna happen. I'd look like an elf. Throw a 1 in the chat if you think Chappie should give himself a mullet. Yeah, throw a 1 in the chat if you want to see me delete my YouTube account. See a 1, that's messed up, bud. Stacy wants me to delete my account. What else? What else we got? Cut it and change the name to Choppy. Not happening, bud. Pip, you got any more ice cream sandwiches? I like those. The ice cream sandwiches are like a silent food. You don't have to hear anybody eat them. Star, you tried. I tried to be silent. I can be silent with my food. Silent. I didn't see my mic move at all. I'm not selling the hair. I'm going to donate it. Chappie, what are you talking about? Nestle. But we're in Texas. We don't eat Blue Bunny. It's this or nothing. Wait, where's it at? In Texas, it's this or nothing. Dang it. Oh, geez, that got really big. Yeah. We're all about Bluebell here in Texas. Have you ever been to Hardee's? Have I? Yeah. I won't donate it to Locks of Love because they sell the hair. There's places I can donate it to. I don't see the flavors they've got. Are you reading something I can't? Let me see. Vanilla bean, strawberry, chocolate chip, dough, moo lithium crunch, butter pecan, mint chocolate chip, homemade vanilla. I don't know. Yeah, I won't do Locks of Love. Yeah, we have Carl's Jr., I think. Oh, wait, is it Hardee's? I don't remember. postcard. Oh. I donate to the Children's Hospital because they took out my kidney and saved my life. When you were a kid, or? I don't understand. Do they work on adults too? I don't know what's going on right now. Oh, number 5. Okay. Oh. It was quiet. My apologies, guys. We got you over there for a second. How very rude of me. I think I'm going to read one more story and then we're going to call it a night. Try to get to bed before 9. This one takes 7 minutes to read. We'll see. Here's the story. It's called Quiet. Maybe you're the one who's compensating. I got taken out. Story. Oh, my neck's sore. I never saw the ocean till I was 19. And if I ever see it again, it will be too GD soon. I was a child coming out of the train, fresh from Amarillo into San Diego in all our glory. The sight of it, all the water, the blind crushing power of the surf filled me with dread. I've never seen water before. Lakes, plenty big, but not like this. I don't think I can describe what it was like the first time. Furthermore, I'm not sure I care to. You can imagine the state I was in when a few weeks later they gave me a rifle and put me on a boat. When I stopped vomiting up everything that I ate, I decided that I might not kill myself after all. Not being able to see land and that ceaselessly chaotic rocking of the waves, I remember thinking that the war had to be a step up from this.
Kids can be so effing stupid. I had such a giddy sense of glee when I saw the island, its solid banks. They transferred us to a smaller boat in the middle of the night, just our undersized company, with our rucksacks and rifles, not a word. We just took a ride right into it, just because they asked us to. The lieutenants herded us into our platoons on the decks and briefed us. The island had been lost. That was exactly how he put it. However, in the grand plan of the Pacific, this one tiny speck of Earth, only recently discovered and unmapped, had gotten lost in the shuffle. A singularly perfect clerical error was all it took. It was extremely unlikely, he stressed, that the Japanese had gotten a hold of it, being so far east and south of their current borders, but a recent flyover reported it looked like an airfield in the central plateau. We hit the beach in the middle of the night. I'd heard talk of landings before, and not ashamed to tell, I was scared shitless. I don't know quite what I expected, but it wasn't what we got. A thick, heavy silence behind the lapping of the waves and the winds in the trees. There was nothing, no birds, insects, just deathly stillness. Another 100 yards deeper into the eerie tranquil of the jungle, we stopped in a small clearing for the officers to reconvene. It was obvious even they were spooked. I wasn't a bright kid, but I knew enough to know that something was very wrong. It was like the whole island was dead. I remember I could only smell the sea, despite the red blossoms dangling from the trees. It wasn't an airfield on top of the plateau. I can't tell you what it was, because I've never seen anything like it. I don't think anyone ever will. If I tell you it was like an Aztec pyramid, but upside down, so that sank like a great giant steps into the earth, you'd get the basic idea of it, but that somehow fails to capture the profound unearthedness of the structure. There was no sign of individual pieces in the masonry. It appeared to have been carved out of single immense block of black rock in the sharp geometric shape. It was slick and perfectly smooth like obsidian, but it had no shine to it. It swallowed up even the moonlight, so that it was impossible to see how deep it was, or even focus your eyes on any part of it, like it was one giant blind spot. Our platoon driver had the honor of investigating the lower levels, so we descended the stairs as the rest of the company surrounded the plateau. We took the stairs slowly and carefully after the first man to touch one of the right side ankle edges slid his hands down to the bone. Sharp. At odd intervals down the steps, there were several small stone rooms, simple, empty, hollow cubes of stone with one opening. Facing the split in the center, there was no door that you could see, and the opening being 4 feet of the ground, you'd have to put your hands on the black razor-sharp edge to climb into it. We circled the descending floors, shining our lights into each small structure. They contained the same featureless black walls and nothing else. No dust, no leaves or other debris from the jungle. The whole monument was immaculate, as if the place was just built, but that couldn't be right. The whole structure felt incalculably old on me somehow, despite having no way to articulate the particular reason.
Down near the bottom, we could see it simply sloped away into the darkness, as swallowed by the flashlights. We tossed first a button and then a shell casing down the pit and waited in the unearthly silence, but no sounds returned. No one spoke. We simply turned away from the yawning abyss and continued our sweep of the bottom rung and the last of the small structures. The body in the back corner was almost invisible at first in the thick shadows. The long spill of drying blood reflected the lights of our flashlight, and it led right to him. He was coiled tight, his arms around his thighs, his face tucked into his knees. You could see badly he was cut. His clothes opened into ragged, bloody tatters to reveal the skin and bone beneath it. He may have been dressed in a Japanese uniform, but it had been reduced to ribbons. I only had a few seconds to look at him before we heard the first shots. It echoed like a buzzing of a faraway insect in the still jungle, swallowed almost instantly by the blanket of quiet. By the time we reached the top, the rest of the company was vanished. There were shell casings on the ground, and the hot smell of gunpowder in the air, but they were gone. The trees were deathly quiet around. There was not a trace of the nearly 50 other men that had come ashore with us. I could taste bile rushing in my throat as a panic threatened to cripple me. I felt crushed between my yawning pit and the razor's edge on one side of the dead jungle and a pouring ocean on the other. The silence rang in my ears and struggled to still myself. You know blackface is racist now, David. It's always been racist, but it's even worse now. They were just inside the jungle waiting for us. They came out from between the trees. All of a sudden, the sound of a moth simply sliding into our view. I can try to tell you what I saw, the same as I do with the army doc on the hospital ship when I first woke up, and again half a dozen other various officers over the following months. And you have the same reaction that they did. That I was a dumb country rube suffering from heat stroke and exposure to trauma. That I was crazy. You know me. You know I'm not crazy. And I remember every second of that night with crystal clarity. The thing, the first one that caught my eye, was wearing the skin of a Jap soldier, all mottled with the belly distended from rot. The head drooped, useless and obscene on the shoulders, tongue swollen and eyes cloudy. You could see where it was coming apart from the ill-defined joints, with ragged holes in the drying flesh. The bottom of each of these raw pits was blackness deeper than the stones of the buildings, a darkness that seemed to churn and froth like the angry cloud. The things moved suddenly. I heard snapping and rolling backwards as it dashed towards us. I had my rifle clasped tightly in my hands, but it simply didn't occur to me to fire. All I could do was gape silently at the macabre sight bearing down on us. I think absurdly of my mother's marionettes. A gun went off beside me, and I turned to see a dozen more of those other horrors darting silently in on us. Among them were a few more rotting and swollen forms, but the majority wore the same uniforms as us, and were pale, fresh, and soaked in blood. More bullets zipped through the air, and I saw grisly things hit and... Okay, I don't know. I saw great ragged wounds. Nope. More bullets zipped through the air, and I saw a grisly thing hit again and again. But they never slowed. I caught a glimpse of the first sergeant's vacant eyes as his head dangled limp from his shoulders. I saw the great ragged wound on his back and the shuddering darkness that inhibited his corpse when he just leapt past me without a sound, landing like a graceful predator on the soldier beside me. And others around me began to drop in silent dance of kinetic energy and blurred motion. I was on the track team in high school, and I could have got me to college. I didn't need an invitation, I just ran. I ran blindly through the jungle, carooning caroming of tree trunks. I ran until I saw the ocean and struck a new ringing note of terror in me. I don't remember what actually decided to. I don't know. Remember actually deciding to swim. When I turned back to see the tree line, I saw one of the white and bloody things emerge, running on all fours, the hands splayed wide, the back contorted and cracked in an impossible angle. To this day, mere the thought of the ocean still brings a cold sweat. But that night, I let it embrace me. I let the tide drag me out to sea, only to bring me momentary relief from the impossible monolith of terrors on that island. The days I spent drifting offshore in blistering sun were welcome to the release of the silent island. I never saw the war. They sent me home as soon as I'd recovered. It was comforting in a way. When I thought no one believed me, it allowed me to believe that it never happened. That it was a product of my mind. That as I got older, I found it pointless to lie to anyone, especially yourself. I know what I saw. Someone else believed in me too. I've seen maps of where they tested the hydrogen bombs in the South Pacific. They use a word I quite like. Ragged. Yeah. That was something. Well, guys, I'm gonna end it here, if that's okay with y'all. Regardless, if it's not, well, I'm sorry for your luck. Yeah. But I gotta get me some sleepy sleeps, so I'm a good productive worker tomorrow. Thanks for the story time, Chappie. Well, thank you for coming, Pip. Yeah. Sleep well. I'll do my best. I usually do. See you all. 169 subs. Just wanted to share that. Bye. Kick ass, man. I mean, I keep looking at all my looking at all my stuff. They changed their... I don't know. I'm just gonna close that. Let's make sure. the icon for the chat. Looks pretty trippy. By the way, it's not that I don't like you, but it's sleepy time for me. Oh, you people are awesome. I love you all. Care about that stuff. Close that. You all have a wonderful night. I'm gonna go smoke one more cigarette and then get into that bed and pass the F out. I'm excited. Good luck with your Burt's Bees. Put some Burt's Bees on his lips just 'cause, you know, Burt's Bees. Hee hee. Tonight, when you're not looking, I'm gonna come up from your bed. I'm just gonna go beep beep. But if you wake up, pray to God you don't. Aw, hee hee. Anyways, guys. Yeah. Night all. TC now. What time is it for you, Cougar? It's gotta be really late. It's like 9 o'clock over here. 9:12, almost 9:15. That means it's like next Tuesday for y'all. It's like 1 in the morning though, isn't it? Oh, it's 3 in the morning for England. Oh yeah, it's late. Yeah. Night. That's how I read that, so you wanna Tulu. Oh, it's ridiculous. Helical made in Japan. I love that country. It's wonderful and creepy. 4:12 a.m. here. Jesus. You should move to America because you'd be on regular time. 10:13 here. You just must be one. I don't know. I was thinking you were in California, but you're not. You're up north, aren't you? But yeah, guys. So you will all see me stream tomorrow. Don't have the money though. 10:13 too. Oh, I got you. What do you got me for, Stacy? I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks. I don't know. Sleep well, guys. Yeah, definitely. Everybody sleep well. Get your sleepy sleeps. I'm gonna have my bedtime smoky. And yeah. Y'all have a good one. Bye bye. Peace.